Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Welcome in. It is the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Alex Napoles. That's Christian Esparza. We got Parker along with us today. And welcome in on a beautiful Saturday morning. Christian, how's your week, man? How's it going?
Good week. Good week. Nice to have the day off yesterday for Pioneer Days. Hope everybody celebrated, had a lot of fun, or just enjoyed your day off. Or if you didn't have the day off, thanks for working while the rest of us had it off.
Absolutely. Did you do anything fun?
My brother-in-law and his wife came to town.
Yeah.
They have 6 kids. The oldest one is 9. The youngest one is 8 months old. So we had a packed house. We let them stay with us. I didn't want them to have to worry about finding, a hotel room or an Airbnb, So we let them crash with us for a few days. So it was a lot of fun. Yesterday I took them all fishing. I was the only one to catch a fish. So that was kind of funny. I was like, oh, yeah, come on, guys. Like, they live in Las Vegas. They had never really been fishing before. And I had this grand idea of like, oh, yeah, we'll all catch fish. We'll have 6 poles in the water. We'll all catch fish. I was the only one who caught a fish. I kind of felt bad. Is that messed up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, you can't really control it, right?
No, but like I was thinking, so I had the fish on the line, right? And I knew I had a fish on, and I just reeled it in. Should I have passed the pole to one of the little kids and let them reel it in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
At first, I was like, oh, I probably should have done that.
No,
but
come
then
on.
I think, if I give the pole to one of them and let him reel it in, then all the other ones are going to be jealous. Like
Exactly.
I didn't want to cause a fight.
That's my train of thought.
Yeah.
You do it, and then that way the other kids don't fight over whose fish it is.
Right.
Then that way you can say it's my fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome, man. Yesterday, the Days of 47 parade, got to be a part of that again. That was super awesome. Last year, you and I walked it.
Yeah.
This year, I got to sit in a cool tent. And
Was it nice and shaded?
It was nice and shaded. We had the KSL Sports stuff up, and I got to announce everybody, all the floats walking by, and everybody who was coming down 200 East. I was there on the loudspeaker for everybody to hear.
So the zone or the KSL float, it was Lloyd and Tim representing the zone.
Yes.
Who else was there from KSL?
Oh, a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of people. A lot of TV people. I know Matt Johnson was down there doing his weather stuff.
Did you announce Lloyd and Tim's names?
No, I probably should have, though.
No, you shouldn't have. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay. I was so kind of like dialed into the script and like reading the script that well, and then too, they ended up flipping the floats. So like the KSL Sports, it was like out of order. So I didn't even notice they were coming up until like Lloyd walked up and like waved at me and Cheyenne. So
Were there 2 separate floats?
No, it was just one float.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
they got.
But on the
KSL
script,
flipped.
on the
Okay,
script
with
they
somebody
were
else.
they were supposed to come up after, but for some reason they ended up getting flipped, so I didn't even realize that they were coming up.
Oh. Okay.
So I was so dialed into the script that I was just like reading it, verbatim, and then missed that Lloyd and Tim were waving at me.
Well, that's
Sorry,
cool,
guys.
man. That sounds like a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun last year. It
was.
Huge parade. I know that the whole city shows out for it. So.
It was a lot of people out there, a lot of really awesome people around the tent, man, it was fun. It was fun watching everybody walking down 200 East and enjoying the festivities of the Days of 47. Let's jump into sports. Let's get to it. There's a lot to cover.
Did something happen?
A lot to talk about because yesterday while I'm watching all these floats and all these people walking down 200 East, I get a buzz on my phone, and of course I glance over and take a look at it, and I get the news that LeBron James has made his last decision. LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. He signs a 2-year, $8 million deal to what is essentially going to be his final run at another NBA championship with the Philadelphia 76ers.
So it's funny. It's funny how there's already speculation that maybe this isn't his last deal. I've seen some people, theorizing that maybe he'll spend a year in Philly, get out of the contract early, and then go to Cleveland for the final season. Or maybe he'll finish out the contract in Philly and then go to Cleveland and have Cleveland draft Bryce and trade for Bronny so he could spend that final year with both of his sons. But at that point, he'd be, 43, 44? That's whatever. That's down the road. But the big news, is choosing Philadelphia over the presumed front runners in my mind, Cleveland and Miami. I mean, I had thought that LeBron was going to wrap it up in Cleveland for the last, I think, 2 years. I thought that was going to be the move. I was almost certain that's where he was going, but he chooses Philly, the team that just traded for Jaylen Brown. Of course, they've already got Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and VJ Edgecombe. So now he is joining a pretty stacked group, a stacked team,
Absolutely.
A stacked starting five.
Absolutely.
I mean, if they can all stay healthy, and that's a big if, especially talking about Joel Embiid, that's a really good Philadelphia team.
I thought it was interesting, too, the tweet that he posted after the news broke, which was, of course, him essentially saying that he was ready to retire. He was ready to announce it. That's what I was getting at.
No,
I don't believe it. I know that he said in his last press conference he was going to take some time and look at himself, his career, and his family. I don't believe it. I don't buy it for 1 second.
No, that's performative.
Yeah, I don't buy it for 1 second. I don't think that at any point he was ready to hang him up. That this go around, I think that he knew that he wanted to continue to play. It was just a matter of when, and especially going back to last week, we talked about it. The trust the process comment that he threw out at that fan event.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There was no way that I don't think that at any point LeBron thought that this was it.
No, we all know that LeBron James is going to go out eventually. But when he does, he's going to tell everybody so that he can have the retirement tour.
Right.
Because Kobe got his and everybody else really had theirs. You know, a lot of the legends had theirs. Dirk had his, Dwayne Wade had his. Like, LeBron wants that. He's not just going to walk off into obscurity with no warning. He wants the whole, LeBron, thank you for everything from all 30 teams in the NBA. Maybe he's going to wait until the expansion happens so he can even get a thank you from the 2 extra teams that the NBA ends up adding, right? So, I don't know. I think that's kind of, like I said, it's performative.
There was a comment made earlier in this week by Rich Paul. He was on a podcast with somebody. I can't remember whose podcast it was, but he was on a podcast with somebody. And he sits down in front of the mic and says that they're not doing this to be performative. They're just taking their time on for him to make his decision, right? Because he's earned it. Because his career and his accolades and everything that LeBron James has done, he's earned the right to think about it and to take his time with the decision of where he wants to continue playing, continue making his career. And again, putting an emphasis on the not performative line. Because it really felt performative, right?
This whole thing it's a circus.
Again, because going back to the trust the process thing, like riling up the Philadelphia fans, to Rich Paul talking about every single possibility that LeBron, on that same podcast, every single possibility of where LeBron James could go play, it did ultimately feel very performative, despite Rich Paul claiming and pushing the narrative of it not being performative. He even jumped on Pat McAfee on Tuesday, I think it was, where he jumps on Pat McAfee and says, be patient. He's making his decision. This isn't performative.
Of course it is. Like, he took 20 whatever days since the start of free agency. Now, I get that there were other moves that were made, right? Jaylen Brown being traded to Philadelphia is one of the moves, I'm sure, that led to this decision. And there was speculation on, was he trying to get Cleveland to trade for Anthony Davis and or Kyrie Irving, right? Or Miami to do that, or whatever, so he can end up with some of his buddies. But I do think it's interesting. Ultimately, he ends up in a spot with players that he's never played before. He has no relationship to these guys. He doesn't have any relationship to the city of Philadelphia. He mentioned, as you brought up earlier, his tweet thread that he put out. He brought up bringing energy to a new fan base that he's never been with before. So it kind of came out of left field, to be honest with you. I didn't think LeBron would want to be not the star of the show. He goes to Cleveland. He is the hometown kid. He is the star of the show. He goes to Miami, and yes, they just traded for Giannis, but it's like he won a championship there. But now he goes to Philly, and it's like, what is the pecking order? Like, they just traded for Jaylen Brown. Joel Embiid is the process. Where does LeBron, is he third fiddle? Is he second fiddle? Is Jaylen Brown going to be unhappy if he's not the alpha? And he, that's why he wanted out of Boston, is because it was not his team. Philly trades for him, and the assumption is, okay, this is your team now, Jaylen Brown. And then they just bring in LeBron James. What does that look like? What does it look like for VJ Edgecombe, who they just drafted last year? He had a phenomenal rookie season.
Right.
Now he's buried. So that's, I don't know. Again, like, if this ultimately works out and they win a championship, then who cares? But I truly think this is an interesting move, because somebody's not going to be happy with their role. And I cannot wait to see who it is.
And I mean, going back to, I guess, just the history of the 76ers, of Joel Embiid not being able to stay healthy, of Jaylen Brown competing with Jason Tatum, right, with his time at the Celtics, of who was the guy in Boston. Those aren't dominoes that I think now are going to magically start falling in the right places where they haven't been in the past for these players, whether it's the injuries for Embiid, whether it's Jaylen Brown sharing the spotlight. I do look at it two ways. Because I think ultimately you look at the potential starting lineup for this Philadelphia 76ers team with the Tyrese Maxey, with VJ Edgecombe, with Jaylen Brown, with LeBron James, with Joel Embiid, and on paper, that's a really stacked team. That's a really, really good team. I don't know if it's going to. I don't know if it's going to get them to where they want to go. I think you look at that starting lineup and say, this is an Eastern Conference that potentially you can take advantage of. You hear about it all the time, how weak the East is, but again, the question comes to, can Joel Embiid stay healthy enough for this team to be competitive? Can Jaylen Brown share the spotlight for this team to be competitive? Can Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe begin to start taking more steps in their career? Specifically, VJ Edgecombe, who's entering his second year?
This will be
year two, right? Can he take those steps to be competitive? Those are questions that I think need to be answered pretty quickly for me to think that the 76ers can be this can work for the 76ers.
Right. It's essentially, I mean, he signed a 2-year deal. You think he plays out both seasons?
I would think so.
Okay. So you don't think that this is like the quote-unquote last dance? Because that's a whole other layer to this.
Right.
Remember, he has a film crew following him around.
Exactly.
He has hired a film crew. And I'm sure this whole offseason has all been documented. This entire season is going to be put out in a series sometime in the future.
Season 1, dude.
Exactly. Right.
It's season 1 of the documentary.
Okay, so that's the other thing. But to your point, a lot of things have to go right for this to work. I mean, it's a risky move for Philadelphia.
Right.
And trading for Jaylen Brown, first off, is a risky move, but he's a good player. He's a really good player. He did a lot of good things in Boston. It was risky, but I think everybody would say, yes, they won that trade because they got off Paul George's contract. They really didn't have to give up major draft assets, and they bring in a guy who was Finals MVP 2 years ago. So that is a great move. Bringing in Jaylen Brown, adding him to this team. But then you bring in LeBron James and his ego and his antics and the circus. And I don't care what he says his motive is. If he says his motive is to win a championship, you know that LeBron James is not somebody who's just going to put his head down and stay out of the way, essentially. That's what happened in LA. That's why things didn't work out. And COVID bubble championship aside, the reason the Lakers were never very good while LeBron James was there is because LeBron wanted to be LeBron and run Le Show. Now in Le Philly, is LeBron going to take a step back and trust the process and let this play out the way it needs to play out? Or is LeBron going to step in and say, okay, I'm Mr. LeBron James. I'm going to run this the way that I have been running things for the last 10 years. And because if he does that, it's not going to work.
And I see it, again, knowing LeBron, knowing that this documentary crew is falling out, knowing that this is potentially his last step of his NBA career, I have a hard time seeing it not being the latter, right? I have a hard time not seeing it be LeBron wanting to run the show and wanting it to be, of course, about LeBron James, because this is what is everybody's now presuming to be the final run. I
So we'll see. I I can't wait to, Joel Embiid is no stranger to drama. LeBron James is no stranger to drama. Jaylen Brown is no stranger to drama. So mid-season, when things aren't going Philadelphia's way for whatever reason, I mean, we can place bets right now on who's going to be the first to complain. Is it going to be Joel Embiid complaining to the media? Is it going to be LeBron James subtweeting people? Is it going to be Jaylen Brown hopping on Twitch and calling out his teammates? We'll see. Because Jaylen Brown has a history with Joel.
That's true.
Jaylen Brown has a history with Bronny, right?
Yep.
Remember the comment? We'll have to find these and play them later.
I did see it pop up again on my feed yesterday after the news obviously broke. I did see the comments of LeBron going at Jaylen Brown because of what he said about Bronny.
Right.
Were resurfacing, and it was like the caption was, "These guys are teammates now."
Oh, you know what? There's no audio of that. It was lip reading. Jaylen Brown was talking to somebody at a Bronny Summer League game, and he very clearly says he's just not an NBA player. He very clearly says that about Bronny.
Right, yes.
And so that is the past. That's the relationship right now that LeBron and Jaylen Brown have.
And at some point, somebody asked LeBron about that, and
Yes.
and he went after Jaylen Brown in a post-game press conference, which that one there is audio.
So
audio
now
of.
that's got to be water under the bridge, I guess.
Yes.
But I don't know, because on paper, again, all these guys are very talented, right? Joel Embiid was an MVP, 3 seasons ago? When he's healthy, he's a very dominant player. And there's still no doubt about that. It's just a question of his health. Tyrese Maxey's an all-star. Jaylen Brown is a top 10 player in the league. LeBron James, although he is old, when he wants to be good, he can still be a good basketball player, right? He's still smart enough and been around long enough and frankly still physically talented enough to be, a starting player in the league. So maybe this is the best fit where he doesn't have to be the second or third best player. If he can be the fourth best player in the rotation, maybe that is a good fit. The question is just, is he willing to accept that role? Or, when the clock is counting down and the Philadelphia 76ers need a basket as time is expiring, who's fighting over the ball? Who's bringing the ball up the court? Who's taking that shot?
This feels very reminiscent. I know two very completely different situations, but this feels a little reminiscent of the Nets when they brought in Durant, and when they brought in Harden.
Okay.
Right? There's all this hype. There's all this super team talk. Everybody's talking about how the Brooklyn Nets are now going to be NBA champions, and it never worked out.
So you don't think this is going to work out?
No, I think there's too many egos in that room right now.
Okay.
And
So you look at the rest of the East, even though, we'll both sit here and recognize that the East is weak. I know a lot of teams in the East made moves to get better this offseason, including the Heat, right?
Right.
So sitting today right now, you look at New York, who just won the championship, Miami, who just traded for Giannis, Philadelphia, Boston, Cleveland. Where do the 76ers fit among those 5 teams?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think
Like right now today, do you think that you would take them over the Knicks?
over the Knicks.
Presuming everybody's healthy.
Presuming everybody's healthy, no. I still think until the Knicks are, again, go out there and prove otherwise that they can't go and be as competitive and be as great as they were this past season, the Knicks are probably my number 1 team in the East right now.
Okay. Do you take Philly over Boston?
No. I'm sticking with Boston at 2. And then I'd probably throw Philly there at 3.
You take Philly over Miami?
Yes.
And Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely, Cleveland.
Okay.
1,000% Cleveland.
All right.
I don't believe Cleveland anymore. I wanted to so hard, and I wanted to so bad. We've had these conversations, right, especially as the playoffs were going on, about how much I wanted to trust and believe Cleveland. But after the Kenny Atkinson comments about James Harden's defensive play and everything that happened this past season with Cleveland, how bad they were in that Eastern Conference Championship game against the Knicks,
Yeah.
I'm off the Cleveland train. Get me out.
I will say Philadelphia's bench unit stinks.
That's the issue I have with,
Like, they have
that's
no
another
depth.
issue. Yeah, that's another issue that needs to be talked about with the 76ers team is you saw how important depth was when it came to how far teams went in the Western Conference with how far teams made it in the Eastern Conference. One of the big reasons I feel like the Knicks were so successful this season was because they had incredible depth and they had players stepping up that have never stepped up before. Landry Shamet looked fantastic. Yeah, and I've always clowned on Landry Shamet for just being an average NBA player. And even he had a pretty good run in the playoffs.
Well, I guess you could say that about anybody, right? You could look at the 76ers bench unit and say that guy stinks. And we were saying the same thing about Landry Shamet a year ago.
Sure.
New York did lose Mitchell Robinson, right, to Boston. That was a big loss. I don't think they really lost anybody else. They retained Jordan Clarkson and Alvarado and Landry Shamet. So I don't know. I think that is going to be if Philadelphia can make it healthy to a postseason, right? They've got a 40-whatever-year-old LeBron James. They've got an injury-prone Joel Embiid. To his credit, Jaylen Brown is very durable. VJ Edgecombe is still really young. He shouldn't be dealing with injuries. Tyrese Maxey, I think, is fairly healthy, right? So if it comes down to it, I think personally I would take Philadelphia at the top of the East right now. I do think this maybe the LeBron James signing adds a little bit, but like the Jaylen Brown trade was huge.
Yes.
And I think that it's important to remember, we still haven't seen Jaylen Brown suit up with Philly. But when that trade happened, everybody was like, man, what a steal.
And it makes a big difference because he was in the MVP conversation because of the work that he did with the Celtics, right, in the absence of Jason Tatum. And again, not to discredit Jaylen Brown because what he did last season was fantastic. And if he can replicate any sense of what he did in that, especially in the first half of the season for the Boston Celtics, then that's a really, really great player that you just have now added to this team. Looking at the depth, they have Anthony Simmons.
Yeah.
Justin Edwards, Dean Wade, Adam Bona, and LeBaron Fillon Jr. Do any of those names move the needle for you?
No. But again, like you'd say the same thing about New York's bench last year, right?
Again,
it's like they're bringing in Jordan Clarkson on a vet minimum. They signed Landry Shamet. Like, what are these guys going to do? I don't know. Maybe they do rise to the spotlight.
I think LeBaron Fillon is a draft pick, right?
Yes.
Just coming in. But again, like the second Joel Embiid goes down, can Ndambona step up and give you what Joel Embiid gives you?
No, but nobody can.
Right. Dean Wade, what is he going to bring off?
Dean Wade is a fine bench player. I think he's a good six man. But yeah, outside of that,
I don't know. I struggle looking at the depth on this team and struggle to put them at the top of the Eastern Conference because we know what's on the bench with the New York Knicks, and it feels like a lot of these names, as far as the depth goes now for the Philadelphia 76ers, are all still really unproven.
That's fair. Where do you think Cleveland and Miami go from here after missing out on LeBron?
Cleveland has, I think Cleveland has a lot of questions that need to be that need to be answered as far as, same thing as far as their depth goes. I don't know. I think you've already reached the peak of what this iteration of the Cleveland Cavaliers will give you. And then as far as Miami goes, it would probably be the same conversation we're having with Joel Embiid. As long as Giannis Antetokounmpo can stay healthy, that team can be solid. That team can be competitive. But I don't know if they're, again, top of the East.
I think LeBron signing is a domino, right? I think a lot of people were waiting, including DeMar DeRozan. I think he'd fit best in Miami, but I think he's going to either Miami or Cleveland, right? So I think that's going to be a fine piece. Again, I don't know if that puts Miami over the top, but I do think the Giannis trade is huge. I think that his injuries were kind of let's just say I don't think the injuries were real. I don't think he was really injured. as
You're talking
much
about
as he was.
DeRozan. You're talking about
No, I'm talking about Giannis.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Towards the end of his tenure in Milwaukee, he was dealing with all these calf strains.
It was just kind of a, hey, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are like really worried about his health because he's missed a lot of games over the last couple of seasons. I think he's going to show up in Miami and that calf is going to magically be healed, right? So if they sign DeRozan, man, he brings a lot to what they kind of need as far as shooting goes.
A trio of DeMar DeRozan, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam Adebayo.
I mean, I wouldn't even include DeMar as a trio. Like he's washed, right? He's past his prime, but he still is a smart enough vet to bring in something of value, and that's something that they need, right?
The thing with Miami for me too is they traded away everybody to bring in Giannis. They gave up a lot of depth and a lot of really good pieces to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo. And again, the question I have with the 76ers is the depth. Will the depth be good enough? Can the depth step up enough for this Miami Heat team to be competitive?
I do wonder. There are a couple other restricted free agents that could be really useful, right? Benedict Mathurin, Peyton Watson over in Denver. Those guys are both restricted free agents. So I do wonder now that some of the dust has settled if a team is going to feel a little, I don't want to say desperate, but more inclined to make a restricted free agent offer towards some of these players.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like Peyton Watson would be a really good fit in Miami.
I think so, yeah.
Jalen Duren, still restricted free agent. That has not been settled with Detroit.
And I think that's another big domino that needs to eventually fall. Whether he ends up staying in Detroit, whether he ends up leaving. The last I saw was something put out there by Chris Haynes, saying that he was really fed up with the situation in Detroit. So I don't know if he ends up staying with the Pistons or not. But that's a guy who was an All-Star last season. Had a big jump this year. Is he going to stay with the Pistons or is he going to go somewhere else?
Yeah, his playoffs really tanked him.
Yeah.
I think if he would have performed better in the playoffs, it would be a no-brainer, but I think that really scared everybody away. Because he had like one of the weirder, as you mentioned, all-star seasons, then he averaged like 10 points a game in the playoffs.
Right.
And was a big part of why Detroit couldn't go farther. But as we kind of are alluding to, right, now that LeBron has finally made a decision, I think we're going to see a lot of moves over the next couple days, including... I bring up the restricted free agents, guys like Russell Westbrook. Is he going to find a home? James Harden has been holding out with Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Is he finally going to re-sign there? Draymond Green, similar deal with the Warriors, right? Those guys were both kind of waiting, hoping that they could get LeBron and then sign their deal to go over the cap. But I think this is going to be the first move that kind of leads to the end of free agency.
It felt like there was a lot of teams in the East that still need to make moves, that still needed to fill out rosters, and still need to bring in players to help get them to where they needed to where they want and need to go. Specifically, the teams that were waiting on LeBron's decision. So now I'm assuming and waiting to see if a flurry of moves come for the Cavs, for the Heat, and other teams in the East to fill out their rosters. And before we can, there's still moves to be made, and I think we'll probably see them here in the next couple of weeks. All right, we got to take a break. We'll step aside. We'll come back, and we'll jump into the rumor mill. Rumor has it we'll jump into some of the things that we've seen earlier this week and some of the rumors and the rumblings that are going on in the sports world. That's coming up next on the other side when we return. It is the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back into the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Napoles and Christian Esparza, thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. We'll jump into here to the rumor mill, talk about some of the rumblings that have been happening on in the social media world, around the world of sports. And so, Parker, fire it up. It is a rumor has it. Anthony Davis spotted working out at Villanova. So there's a lot of rumor, then there's a lot of rumblings happening around the world of Anthony Davis. And the latest is, of course, that he was spotted at Villanova working out and getting ready for the season. And why is that so important, Christian?
Do you know where Villanova is located?
I do know where Villanova is located.
Just outside the city of brotherly love.
There you go.
Anthony Davis was spotted working out at Villanova yesterday, right?
Right. And this goes along to
Interesting.
Right. This goes along too with some of the rumblings and the tweets that have been out there earlier this week about the need for the want of Anthony Davis wanting to reunite with LeBron James for the last time out.
Well, what's funny is looking at the 76ers right now is they can't trade for Anthony Davis. I mean, if they add Anthony Davis, they're going to have to either move Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid or LeBron James to the bench, or move one of Tyrese Maxey or VJ Edgecombe.
Maybe. Do you really want to do that for Anthony Davis?
Maybe you move VJ Edgecombe to the bench and move LeBron to the 3 and Jaylen Brown to the 2.
Yeah.
And start Anthony Davis at the 4 and Joel Embiid at the 5. But I don't know. I mean, again, Philly didn't really have to give up anything to get Jaylen Brown. They still have draft assets. I mean, if they wanted to make it work, they can. But all of the reporting in the days leading up to LeBron signing with Philadelphia seemed to be that he was not waiting for a trade for Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving, any of his former teammates. It kind of seems like that ship has sailed as far as that happening. But it is interesting to see Anthony Davis coincidentally working out at Villanova the day that LeBron signs with Philly. So I guess we will see where this goes. I mean, if they do add Anthony Davis, maybe you get 80 games total between Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid, but they're essentially one good player together, right?
Right.
You get half a season of Joel Embiid, half a season of Anthony Davis. That's still an all-star player right there.
And then to add fire, to add smoke to all these rumors, you have the two of the bigger voices when it comes to the NBA insiders kind of giving conflicting reports. You had Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports, who was very into the theory of LeBron James slow playing his entire free agency decision in the hopes that he would be able to reunite with either Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving. But then you have Shams Charania of ESPN, who also said that they weren't slow playing the decision, waiting for more dominoes to fall. They weren't waiting to see if Anthony Davis got traded anywhere. They weren't waiting for Kyrie Irving. They weren't waiting for anybody else to move around.
And that could just be wordplay. Like, you don't have to be waiting for that.
That's true.
You can still sign in Philadelphia and then make the trade afterwards. So
that is true. So we'll see. We'll see if anything happens with Anthony Davis. He did post a cryptic Instagram last night with the "Time will tell who's on my side."
Oh my gosh!
And a black screen. Yeah. So he's also now being cryptic on on social media following the news of LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. So we'll see. Parker, fired up.
This one's fun.
This one is fun, and this one was very interesting. And again, take it with a massive grain of salt, because I don't know how much validity and how much of it was real, I guess. But Marty Mush puts out a tweet out there that I think caught the attention of a lot of local Jazz fans here in the state of Utah, as he puts out sources say LeBron is still going to Cleveland, which we now know is not true. The Cavs had a 3-team trade in place, sending Jarrett Allen to the Jazz and Anthony Davis coming to Cleveland, but that trade is off the table for the time being. End tweet.
Yeah, I mean, let's call it like it is. He's a Barstool guy, right? I don't know how much of these Barstool guys have actual sources. I mean, their whole thing is kind of being sarcastic and whatever, and I get there's an audience for it.
Right.
But there have been some Barstool guys that have had, I mean, there was one that was like all over the Whittingham stuff to Michigan, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So you never know, I guess, what's real and what's fake. This one is interesting because it makes sense, frankly. I mean, we just spent the whole last 5 minutes talking about Anthony Davis being traded to Philadelphia or whatever, and if there was any smoke to that, and LeBron recruiting Anthony Davis to his next team. If LeBron were to have signed with Philadelphia or with Cleveland, and they traded for Anthony Davis, they would have needed to find a home for Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen would have made a lot of sense for the Utah Jazz, of course. Now with LeBron signing in Philly, this is dead.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe the Jazz will work something out later on. But yeah, Jarrett Allen fitting with the Jazz after they lose Walker Kessler. I do like the fit. He's a lot cheaper than Walker Kessler. He is a better player than Walker Kessler. He's an all-star, right? So what could have been? I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because LeBron's not in Cleveland. The Jazz still don't have a center. I guess we can just sit here and talk about how cool it would have been to have Jarrett Allen.
It probably would have.
He seems like a cool dude, but like, I think the conversation here is that the Jazz, if the Jazz wanted to pull this off, they would have. If the Jazz want to trade for Jarrett Allen, they will. Whether it's last week or whether it's at the trade deadline or whether it's a year from now, next offseason. I think the point to remember is the Jazz are not winning a title this year. Sorry to break it to you. They're not.
Right.
So they're not worried about finding their true starting center. Why make a move now just to make a move? You don't have to. Let things play out. Let this first season, let's see how it goes. Make the playoffs. Make the push. Make the next step this year. And then when you're ready to finally become a true contender, then go find your starting center. But don't hamstring yourself right now just because you lost Walker Kessler. That's the whole reason they're comfortable with letting Walker walk. They don't need a starting center right now. They just don't, because they're not the Spurs. They're not the Thunder. They're not on that level yet. And frankly, a starting center probably would not put them on that level yet.
Absolutely. I think I would like to get more insight and more information as to how much validity there was behind this tweet from Marty. Because maybe it is possible that LeBron was having conversations with Cleveland about going to Cleveland. Maybe it was in the works of the Cleveland Cavaliers putting some feelers out there for Jarrett Allen to potentially get Anthony Davis, to get LeBron, have the reading in Cleveland, and then LeBron decides, I don't know, maybe I'll go to Philadelphia. And that's why ultimately that trade ended up being off the table. Because the Cleveland realized, we're actually probably not going to get LeBron James. How much validity there is to all this, or if it was just put out there to be put out there, and they were pulling on the heartstrings of the Utah Jazz faithful, man.
It could be. Yeah, it very well could be,
and we'll probably never know. But you're absolutely right. I think the Utah Jazz don't need to force themselves into any situation just to have a starting center. We've heard it before. Chandler Holt has said it too multiple times. You can put a Band-Aid on the center position for a season and then ultimately make a decision later on, whether that be this before the trade deadline, whether that be next offseason, whenever that timeline is for the Utah Jazz. Do center by committee with Nurk, with Hayes, with the other guys that they signed.
Mo Bamba?
No,
you forget about Mo Bamba?
Maybe not Mo Bamba, but Jaren Jackson, sliding over to the 5.
Could be, yeah.
Kind of have a center by committee, put a bandage over that position for now, and then ultimately when the right decision and the right move comes up for the Utah Jazz, then maybe decide that then.
Well, and center is a lot like linebacker in the NFL, right? Like, your Fred Warners are great, and they really, really make a difference. Your Nikola Jokic, the best probably 2 or 3 in the league, really make a difference, and they're worth a lot of money. But if you are not one of the truly best ones in the league, then you're replaceable. Like, the difference between Walker Kessler and the next 7-foot shot blocking rebounder is not that big of a difference. Walker Kessler is not an all-star. Now he probably will. Now that he's in LA, he's probably going to get a lot more shine. Probably eventually going to be an all-star, right? But the truth is, like, Walker Kessler is not a game-changing center. You can get 75 to 80% of Walker Kessler's production just from, I can't even say really the guys that they have on the roster right now because they don't have a rim protector. They don't have a rebounder. But again, those are issues that are going to be addressed when they are ready to address those issues. And when you do that, yes, you can find a Mitchell Robinson. You can find some of these other guys that really play a similar game to Walker Kessler, and they're not going to break the bank.
All right, Parker. We got quick time for one more. Fire it up. BYU basketball reportedly lands big man from Poland, as Jonathan Gavoni put out there earlier this week that Jacob Urbanek committed to BYU basketball. That is followed by reports coming out of the European team that he's playing with that his contract has been essentially bought out. He is entering the market. And so it looks like BYU have landed their big man. And speaking about big man, we learned, I think, a lot in college basketball this season, too, that in order to be successful, you need to have some really good rim protectors, some really good big men. If you look at the teams who made the Final Four, they all had reliable big man options and good depth at that position, no less. And now BYU is looking to fill in a void at the center position with Urbanek.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why BYU did not live up to expectations last year. I mean, Kibikeda was really good the season before, and he kind of took a step backwards last year.
He did.
And they were really needing that. They were really missing that. They were missing a dominant size and presence in the paint. Now, I get that can be hard because you have AJ DeBonsa, or you had AJ DeBonsa, and his whole thing was kind of clear the paint and let me get to the rim. So, there's a give and take there as far as do you want/need a big man? But the truth is, in college basketball, you will always need a big man. And frankly, a lot of times the team with the better big man wins. Mm-hmm. Like as good as AJ DeBonsa can be, or Rob Wright can be next year, or Bruce Brown can be, right? I don't know.
You look at who won the national championship this last year, the Michigan Wolverines, and they had probably the best big man in the country, in Axel Landenborg.
And I'm thinking of like Utah State matching up against Arizona in whatever round that was. It the second round, right? I believe so.
Yeah. Yep.
Utah State played a heck of a game. They had Arizona on the ropes, and you know why Arizona ultimately won? Because at the end of the day, they had a big man that was just too much of a problem for the Aggies. They had no answer for his rebounding and his strength at the end of the game.
Absolutely.
It literally became hand it to the big guy, and I'm spacing his name, but at the end of the game, they were just feeding it to him, and he was just finding dunks, and he was grabbing boards, and that's what you need. You need a player who's going to dominate everybody else.
Hey, we're live on YouTube. We're up on, if you go over to KSLSports.com, you go to YouTube, you pull up the stream. We're currently live, and join in on the conversation. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think of the following rumors. At Karen for Darren has a comment for Christian. He says, "What? No Jazz title this year. So pessimistic."
They also clarified he's being sarcastic.
Sarcastic. I love it.
Sorry to break it to you.
I love it. All right. We got to take a. Oh, and there's also a poll. Our awesome producer Parker Long put out a poll on social media. There is a poll running right now on the KSL Sports page, KSL Sports Zone page. Sorry, excuse me. Where we're gonna talk about Greg Sankey and the comments that he made right at SEC Media Days that have taken the college football landscape by storm. And so the question is, do you really believe, Greg Sankey, that the SEC might break away from the NCAA? You can go over to that. You can go over to that poll, drop a vote, and we'll see what the feeling is around the SEC potentially breaking away from the NCAA. You can also give us a call in, download the KSL Sports app, leave us a voicemail, and let us know your thoughts on Greg Sankey or on LeBron James joining the Philadelphia 76ers. We got to take a break. On the other side, let's jump into one of our favorite segments. It is Technical Fouls. That's coming up next on the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Napoles, Christian Esparza, and it is time for Technical Fouls. Christian, have you ever seen an NFL owner so desperate for attention? This goes back a little bit to last week, where Tom Brady is at this Fanatics event, and him and, first of all, I watched the video. I thought it was hilarious because it was so very obviously scripted and so very obviously, I guess, fake. But Tom Brady and Logan Paul start going at it. An NFL owner slaps a YouTube content creator, and then they have to be separated. Follow that up to later that Sunday, where Tom Brady and Logan Paul are both at the FIFA World Cup final. They have another dust up where Tom Brady is giving him the bird mid-game.
Yeah.
And again,
well, conveniently, they're
seated right next to each
very
other.
close to each other. Yeah. Oh.
I think this is so lame.
Well, so they have a history going back to, when was the Saudi Arabia football thing? Earlier this year?
Oh, I thought it was last year.
Last year, whatever. There was a big Saudi Arabia football event, a flag football event. Tom Brady helped organize it. I think Fanatics might have been involved, right? And there were a bunch of NFL players, a bunch of celebrities that went and participated in this flag football tournament. And in some of the press leading up to it, Mr. Brady and Mr. Logan Paul had some flare-ups, some words, some exchanges, whatever. And then, yes, fast forward to this Fanatics event last week. Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul up on the stage. Who tweets the video out? I mean, a lot of people did, but guess what? There was one account that was a dead giveaway that tweeted this out.
It was Fanatics, right?
No, well, what I'm getting at is the WWE.
Oh, gotcha.
Tweeted the video out.
Gotcha.
The WWE tweeted the video out.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, of course, has associated with the WWE. Fine, do your thing. But now you have Tom Brady in bed with the WWE.
Yes.
And, of course, a couple days after that, it comes out that he is in talks for a contract. And we've seen professional athletes do this thing before, right? But...
Right.
Excuse me, I got fired up. We've seen professional athletes do the WWE thing before. Karl Malone did it. So it's like, it's not taboo, but it's embarrassing for the 48, 49-year-old man now that has moved on from his playing career. He has moved on to an ownership role with the Las Vegas Raiders. He is Fox's top color analyst for their broadcasts. And you've still got this guy who's made all the money in the world during his NFL career. And why? My question is why? Why do you need to do the WE thing?
Are you justifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in?
Are you? Good one. Good pull. Are you running out of money? Are you desperate for attention? Are you feel like you're losing the spotlight? You want to relate to the younger generation? That's my question is why do this if you're Tom Brady? Because frankly, it's embarrassing.
Is it so crazy for me to think that it feels like it's a mix of all of those combined?
It totally could
together.
Be. It's embarrassing for a man of Tom Brady's position to feel like he needs to go have fake beef with a 30-year-old YouTuber.
Right.
Like, come on.
I'm rewatching the video right now, and the security guy or whoever's next to Tom Brady is clearly just like waiting for the slap.
Yeah.
Like he's like watching his hand, and
they told him, okay, he's gonna get up there and slap Logan, and as soon as he does, get in there and break it up. So he's antsy. He's like, okay.
Yeah, no, this reads desperate for attention, desperate for I wanting to keep the spotlight on him, wanting to do the stuff with the WWE, and again, like
And it's funny because Karl Anthony Towns is in the middle of this video too.
Yes. To me, I don't see any other NFL owner doing this.
No.
I don't see any other NFL owner a part of a situation like this. So I mean, we got to hold I guess Tom Brady to a higher standard. And I feel like it's just the fact that he's Tom Brady that he has the ability to go do whatever he wants. Well, and I think that's kind of silly.
It's funny because Jerry Jones is always desperate for attention, right?
Yeah, but he never
You see
somebody.
Robert Kraft desperate for attention, and they get that attention in their own ways. But to your point, you don't see them signing with the WWE, making this fake beef, this whole saga. Like, it's sickening. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Right.
It's been going on for over a year. March was when the flag football tournament was, but the press leading up to it, and even some of the beef after the game. There's this video right here. Tom Brady says, "You did good." Logan Paul says, "No, I did great." And Tom Brady says, "No, you did good." Like, it's just feeding the fire, and it's, again, that's the question is why?
Yeah.
Why does Tom Brady need to do this?
We're already letting...
You're pushing 50, bro.
Yeah. We're already letting Tom Brady get away with being an NFL owner and being in broadcast rooms, right? And the controversy that draws up with him being an owner and a Fox commentator.
Yeah.
Let's not also let him get away with this.
So
Please,
does this
please.
drop Tom in your GOAT rankings?
No, I mean
No.
the Super Bowls, man. Come on.
Oh, Peyton Manning's the GOAT now. Easy.
Of course, you would say Peyton Manning.
Easy, Peyton
Oh
Manning.
man. All right.
Who are those horrible orange creatures over there?
I didn't
Tell
even
them I
mention
hate
the
them.
Broncos. I just said Peyton Manning.
You have a fun one with Mike Vrabel, man.
So this is funny. Today, the Patriots are hosting a Patriots Pet Adoption Day. They do this. Yeah, they do the funny wordplay there. Every year, this is an event that they do, right? But who is... it's funny. We're so Patriots heavy this segment.
I know.
Who is the most notorious person involved with the New England Patriots right now? Like, scandalous. Who is it?
Oh, it's Mike Vrabel.
Okay. And remind me what Mike Vrabel did.
Diana Rossini and everything that came along with and everything that came out about his entanglement with a NFL reporter in Diana Rossini.
He allegedly, yeah, let's call it like it is. He allegedly cheated on his wife
Right.
with an NFL insider.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So it is funny today, even though it's part of this promotional event for a pet adoption thing, to see Mike Vrabel walk up to the Patriots podium holding a puppy. Because what do puppies signify, right? It's like, it's cute, it's pure,
adorable. It's
right?
adorable.
It's adorable, it's pure-hearted.
Right.
It's a feel-good thing, right? If you're around puppies and the puppies like you, you're a good person, right? So Mike Vrabel comes up to his podium today to promote this event, and he's just holding this little lab shepherd mix puppy. He calls her BB, right? He's known BB for a couple months now. He's like, hey, guys, come out here and adopt these dogs. Because if you're talking about adopting dogs, you're a good person. And no matter what you've done in the past, right?
Yes.
The puppies love you.
Yes.
So it's obviously, again, it's a promotional event, and it's something that they always do. But it just feels funny from like the outside perspective of everything that Mike Vrabel's done over the last 9 months.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to their PR department.
Yeah.
You know what's a great idea? Let's get Mike Vrabel up there with the dog, and have people see him in a much better light. To add on to that, though, I'm looking at this tweet and this video right now where Mike Vrabel and BB are being where Mike Vrabel is delivering BB to the new family at the Patriots event that's happening.
Oh, she got adopted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good job for BB.
And Vrabel is handing BB off to the new owner.
Way to go, Mike. You're a good dude. You're a great dude, Mike.
Class act that, Mike Vrabel. Man.
I don't think this is the case, but it would be hilarious if this was his first podium appearance of training camp. And maybe it is, but I doubt it. I haven't really kept up.
I haven't either.
But that would be the funniest part of it is if this was his first podium appearance at training camp and he needs to have a dog up with him to break the tension in the room and kind of, again, soften his image, make it seem like he's just this pure-hearted soul.
Also, to go along with the major news that happened yesterday with LeBron James signing for the Philadelphia 76ers, there was major news coming out of the NFL where CBS NFL analyst Tony Romo was arrested on suspicion of OWI.
Operating while intoxicated.
Yes.
I don't know. Apparently in Wisconsin, there are multiple levels of DUI.
Yes.
So that way the whole state doesn't end up, in jail. I don't know. I don't know where this falls as far as if he's going to serve jail time. I doubt it. I mean, I don't know. Mark Sanchez, his trial keeps getting pushed back, but he beat up an old man.
He did beat it. Yep. Yeah.
Tony Romo, this is a big technical foul. Returns to, I think he's from Wisconsin. I think he was at a golf event, and yeah, I saw this news come out yesterday. His mugshot comes out, and he looks like such a...
He's smiling.
Yeah,
smiling
just
in the mugshot, just grinning ear to
goofy
ear.
guy.
Yeah.
Goofy Tony Romo. His fall from grace has been really interesting because if you remember when he first started as a color analyst,
everybody
and
loved him.
He's doing the play prediction thing. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is great."
Everybody loved it.
He was so good, but
And now you get the, I
Yeah.
don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim. Like The last couple of years, for
Yeah,
some reason, he has just become so annoying on the broadcast.
Yes. Anytime I see any stories of this, anything come out like this, like of this nature, I just remember back to my old high school football coach. Always, his words just seared into my brain. Never do anything to embarrass the team. Never do anything to embarrass your family. Never do anything to embarrass your name. And I feel like it's such an easy way to live life. Don't do anything to embarrass yourself, your family, your team.
Well, some people just live above that.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, you see stories like this all the time. Whether it's the athletes, whether it's now Tony Romo getting involved in this. Just make smarter choices, people. That's all I can say about this. Be smart.
Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Absolutely. And we'll see. His court date appearance is set for September 21st, so we'll see what happens with Tony Romo. And CBS, who had no comment regarding the arrest, we'll see if he continues to be the lead game analyst for CBS's NFL coverage coming up when the season starts.
I hope it's not Tony.
We'll take a break. Coming up on the other side, let's jump into SEC Media Days. Let's jump into some college football talk. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, had a lot to say about where the SEC stands with the NCAA. That's coming up on the other side here on the Saturday show. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.